Hi, welcome back to Community Hotline. Thanks for staying with us. We're now going to be talking with Ray Espana, who is the Director of Community Development at Naya, which is a Native American Youth and Family Center. Thanks for being here, Ray.
My pleasure, thank you.
So Naya, I first found Naya when I was riding the bus to work because it came right in there and dropped a bunch of kids off, and I thought, oh, this is a school. But it's a lot more than a school.
More than a school, yes. The organization, Naya, was originally founded in 1974, so it's approaching 40 years of operation.
Yeah.
The original purpose in the organization was it was a group that was organized by parents and community volunteers who were looking for an effort to continue their cultural activities, do constructive and positive things for children in the community. And so the original mission is to work in partnership with community and parents for cultural identity and education purposes. So that's the original start. It was a program or an effort that was all volunteer for almost 20 years.
Wow.
And so in the mid-90s, it became a nonprofit and adopted the name Native American Youth Association. And it came as a result of parents and community folks wanting a much more deliberate intervention of what they saw kids getting into trouble and wanted to do other things. And so Naya became a 501c3 nonprofit organization and began to solicit resources to do that kind of work.
So it all started with a focus on youth.
Yes.
Yeah, and youth, all youth have issues, but the incidence of problems in Native American youth has been fairly high.
Yes.
And so it was started to address that. But you've evolved way past that.
Yes, and so I've been fortunate to be with the agency almost 11 years. Okay. And so I have a community economic development background. And as our history shows, that we started with a focus on children and very soon knew that we had to work with our parents. There were other issues of getting in trouble and not doing well in school, not having a lot of constructive recreational opportunities. Then we started seeing things of domestic violence. So the organization began to build capacity to address these concerns. And then we did a formal name change from Youth Association to Youth and Family to kind of more represent that we're working with the entire family.
Right.
With it focused on children, but looking at adults and, of course, elders in our community.
So it's more of a holistic approach.
Absolutely. So the entire community, services that are culturally specific, but involve education to recreation to parenting, mental health, and of course we operate a school now. So we've evolved from a small let's say parent-driven group to now a large nonprofit based in Northeast Portland.
It's huge, really. I mean, I'm impressed with how much you're actually doing there. And it is so much more than a school, and it is, helping a lot more than just the youth. But, it's true, if kids have problems, it's not just their problem.
Right,
It's usually a family and a community problem. And I appreciate the fact that the Native American community tries to keep that cultural perspective and instill pride, in their kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm frankly a little jealous of the fact that you have such a strong cultural identity because, as a European American, I don't have a really strong cultural identity, and a lot of us don't. But I think that's such a great thing to instill and something to be proud of. But yeah, every community has problems, and some of the things you're doing are pretty impressive. I've attended one of the home ownership programs that you had at Naya, which is pretty much in my neighborhood, and I was impressed with how well organized everything was and how it did deal with all aspects of the community. And in that vein, you're now starting a new program that is really intergenerational. Sure. So tell us a little bit about the Generations program.
Okay. As you mentioned, we've evolved to be a very comprehensive organization. The department I direct, Community Development, I guess I would describe that as just a continuum of supports and services for anybody, an individual or family, to improve their economic situation. So we'll provide emergency assistance for housing or energy, but we'd like to create better renters and then evolve into home ownership. So we have a full range of taking our community and skill building and building the necessary abilities to kind of compete and improve their economic situation. The project that I wanted to talk to you is called the Generations Project, and it is a very intentional housing project that really is committed to helping children that are currently, Native children that are currently in the foster care system, child welfare system, exit that system into a level of permanency, permanent adoption. So the project that we called Generations is an intergenerational housing that's committed to creating permanency for children exiting foster care. So we'll create permanent families, adoptions, or at least provide the stability necessary for children who have been, realistically traumatized and gone through many experiences, to provide them a stable place to develop as young people and to, productive adults. And so we have family development, but a critical aspect of the project is what we call the elder housing component of an intergenerational housing complex.
Okay.
And so we use elders or seniors to act as mentors for our children. It's based on a very successful model in North Portland called Bridge Meadows.
I'm familiar with
You're
Bridge
familiar
Meadows,
with- yes,
and it's
yes.
one of my favorite organizations.
It's a wonderful
Yeah.
program who are getting tremendous results. And when we met Dorinda and the staff and looked at that project, Naya wanted to have kind of a Naya Meadows, so to speak. And we felt that from a cultural point of view, intergenerational housing is very familiar to us as Native folks. And we wanted to then contribute an exodus of foster care. Native children make up 20% of the population of children in the foster care system.
It's fairly high.
That is the most of any racial or ethnic group.
Really?
Yeah, so
Really?
you imagine 10,000 kids in a foster care system, over 2,000 are Native children.
Wow.
And so that
So I
disparity,
see where you want to put focus on that.
yeah, so we wanted to create a very positive solution, and we could not think of a better housing model as Bridge Meadows, so we now have our version that we're developing called Generations.
I spoke with Dorinda briefly about that earlier today to see what she had to say about Generations, and she had nothing but good things to say. She said, you guys are really on the right track, and it's going to be a really positive arrangement for the community. Where is this actually going to be located?
The project, the Generations site, is approximately 86th and Steele in southeast Portland in the Lentz neighborhood.
Okay.
We're actually kind of repurposing what was formerly the Foster Elementary School.
Oh.
It was
Foster.
it was out of service as a educational facility. It's about a 3-acre parcel.
I think we had some plans that maybe we can show
Oh,
too
okay.
of how that's actually going to be set up.
Sure.
So a 3-acre
But it's
parcel.
a 3-acre parcel. About 2/3 of it will be the housing component.
Okay.
So the housing component will be approximately 40 units of housing for elders and about 10 units for families, for family development.
Okay.
So the difference between, say, Bridge Meadows and Generations really is the cultural, intentional cultural focus of Native American indigenous practices and kind of
Right,
beliefs
right.
as part of the housing and service component. But it also introduces, we plan to develop an early learning center at that
now
facility.
that's different.
So,
Okay,
so the educational piece.
so what are we looking at here?
What you have there is probably the center of the courtyard with housing around it. The structure to the left and rear is what we call the longhouse, and that will house a lot of supportive services, which will be for the residents, tenants, and also the local community residents, for them to get employment and training assistance, financial literacy, those type of skills that are be important to
A real community center.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so we will develop that facility, and what you don't see is the development of an early learning center. And so the courtyard picture was that centerpiece that you had there,
Right.
and the housing, which is kind of a melon color yellow, is the housing components around, and the blue to the, I guess, in this case, the northwest corner of is the site where the school will be. And the school will be for children probably from 0 infants to about 8 years old. So it will probably be a preschool, an early parent interaction.
So for the really young ones, parents will bring their kids there
Yes.
and learn how to work with
how
the
to
kids.
parent, how to work with,
parent.
yes.
Yeah,
And so the commitment of the educational is to prepare the children for public education.
Okay.
And so with a focus on getting them ready for public schools and making sure that they can get to be on course for positive participation in Portland schools. Third grade is a critical year where they assess the child's development, and so we want to do whatever we can to prepare our children. And that will be a very much not just a native program, but a very multicultural, multiracial. So we expect a high population of Latinos, some Slavic, Native, of course, but it'll be very multicultural, multiracial. And we'll develop the educational program in partnership with Portland Public Schools. And we're very excited about this opportunity.
You should be excited about that. It's a big deal. And the Early Learning Center, that's something they don't have at Bridge Meadows, right?
That's correct.
But it's something that will benefit for years to come.
Yes.
So what's the timeline for
Well,
the project?
we're still trying to finish all the details of what the educational piece we'll develop, how many classrooms, for example. We need to finalize what our service elements will be. We're trying to introduce health access or a health component to this. We certainly already do a lot of after-school programming, so that'll be a part of it. So it'll be the development of a full service program for the children and their parents as they engage at that site, and for the residents there. We think we're about 2 years away from groundbreaking, so we're 2014. So, hopefully by 2016 we would have a groundbreaking and have an opening.
Wonderful. Tell me how the elders fit into this picture. They'll be living there, but how are they be involved with the kids and the family?
Yes, well, they'll be recruited. Of course, a recruitment or a marketing, if you will, of the housing opportunity will be that the elders will sign an agreement, a participation agreement, to really do some volunteer as part of the benefit of living there and having access to many of the services. It's very much patterned after the Bridge Meadows, where they require for every elder or tenant to provide 10 hours per week of mentoring, child building relationship. We think that our elders will just love that idea.
I can't imagine that they
And I
wouldn't.
think the results that Bridge Meadows has realized is that the elders are healthier and brighter and more spirited, and the children benefit and love it. They're
all these grandmas and grandpas.
Yes, absolutely. So that we look forward to that day as well.
It's kind of a win-win situation,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be very excited for it. Yeah, I've often thought about Bridge Meadows. I thought, I'd live there. I'd totally do that. I think it sounds great.
Yes.
Yeah, and having all that support in the community, and what a great way to keep your Native American culture alive, having the elders there too to work with the kids and pass on their traditions and their everything that they
I think
holds special to them.
much of the housing component of how generations work together to raise a child, to the services that we provide, which are very holistic. It will be to really help those manage their incomes and improve their incomes, skill building, necessary information. We will have financial and employment and whatever counseling services, health services. In the motivation or the foundation really will be the native cultural values of building community, family, culture is a very important part, giving back, generosity to the community, connecting to other communities is so many of the traditional Native values are be a part of that, and I think people feel very comfortable with that.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Ray. We're just about out of time. Any last words you want to share before we go?
No, it's a blessing to be with you. I appreciate the opportunity, and stay tuned and check Naya out whenever you can.
I want you to come back
Yes.
in a couple of years before the groundbreaking
Yes.
and let us know how it's all going.
Most definitely.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching Community Hotline tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it. You can find out more about Naya and about the Generations Project on their website. We'll have the information on our screen. I hope you can all go out and enjoy the beautiful weather. We'll be back here next week. I'm Monica Weitzel. Thanks for watching Community Hotline.